Hi, and welcome back to Intertech University. I'm John Pendleton. Today we're going to cover a little bit on the AV unit, the outdoor portion of it, which is considered the AV. Again, remember, this comes in two sizes, the 030 and the 060. It also is only one voltage, so we're only at 208, 230 volt single phase. The serial number tag is located in the back right corner of the unit. So if you need to look at the model or serial number or maybe the refrigerant charge, that's all located in the back of the unit. The unit is 50 inches wide, it's 44 inches tall, and 24 inches deep. The installation area between the building and the unit needs to be a minimum of 14 inches. We need to make sure we have room above the unit as well. So we would like to have about 40 inches in case we need to take this top off the unit. Now, there are times when you're going to need to be getting to the left or the right side, especially the right side where the electrical is located. And so we need clearance on both sides of the unit as well. Make sure you're not installing these units too close together if you have more than one, where we're not recirculating air from one to the other. Again, this unit does not use a ground loop. We have an air coil here, and so it's going to blow air. And so we don't want that air to mix with another unit. So make sure that we have adequate space. Make sure you don't install it where it's going to be combustion gases, chimney smoke, any kind of sulfides, chemical sprays. And to be real careful with salt water. If it's going to spray on the unit, it could affect the actual air coil on the unit. So just be careful where you're putting the unit. If you're going to put this unit against the wall, make sure that no wind is going to get trapped back behind it where we recirculate the air, because that will definitely affect the defrost function of this unit. Again, this has an air coil on it, no ground loop, so there is a defrost cycle, and we will be defrosting on this unit. So when we're installing the unit, make sure this unit is sitting on a solid base. Do not set it on the grass or dirt or gravel. It needs to be set on a concrete foundation. If this is going to be in an area where there's a lot of snow, make sure you get a snow stand and set it above your average snow depth. Intertech does have snow stands available of different sizes, so check with us on the different sizes we have. This unit is about 400 pounds, so it's very heavy. It has all the refrigerant circuit in here, so make sure we're supporting the base properly. Make sure you're not putting it against a noise-sensitive wall. If there's a bedroom right behind the unit, you may not want to put it there. Again, there's a compressor and a fan in here, so it will make some noise. So don't put it against any noise-sensitive walls. Again, don't allow it to recirculate its own air, because that's going to affect the operation of the unit. If you could have a possibility of snow falling from the roof, ice sliding down from your gutters, put a snow cover over the top of the unit. That way it doesn't damage the top of the unit. There's a condensate drain over here to the left side on the bottom. It faces towards the building. We would prefer that you route it away from the slab if it's sitting on a concrete slab, as well as the building. Now, we want to make sure we keep that drain line as short as possible. We do have a defrost function, and so when it does drain into the PVC piping, it could freeze and then back up that condensate drain. So you may also want to consider putting heat tape onto the drain line so it doesn't freeze up if you're not dropping it straight out of the unit because you're trying to get it away from the building. So just be careful with the drain. It is going to drain in the winter due to condensation, and that condensation can freeze. There is no circuit breaker supplied with this unit, so one will need to be installed in the field. There's also a disconnect should be installed on this unit that's not provided. So make sure we're installing a disconnect. On the communication wire, we do ship a 4-wire stranded cable, and it's about 50 foot long. That should be plenty of distance. Make sure when you open up your electrical box that you look and inspect all your electrical connections. And here in just a second, we'll go over to the side of the unit and I'll show you how we get to the electrical box. It's not as simple as just taking a couple screws out and pulling the door off. So, and then while over on that side, we'll show you the water connections that go to the indoor module as well. So this is the flexible hose connector that's for the water lines, and you'll see how it's hooked up. But you want to be real careful with this. There's obviously a nut here you tighten down onto the water line that's on the back of the unit. So you're going to have to use 2 wrenches, one to back up the fitting on the unit, and then one to tighten this down. But be careful that you don't tighten it too far down. There is a gasket, a rubber gasket in here that you can tear. So if you tear it, you're going to have water leaks. So just tighten it up, just snug it up, but you don't have to use tons of force. Otherwise, you will rip that gasket. So be careful with that when you're tightening these down. Okay, so here are the water line connections. You can see we have a 90 fitting on one of the water lines and a straight on the other. And so make sure we're always backing this up when we're tightening down this flex hose here. When you fill up the water lines with water, there is a vent located right here. Just take this cap off and you can push on the Schrader port and bleed out any air that might be in there. And then you can just put the cap back on and you should be good to go there. So here we are on the right side of the unit where the electrical box is located behind this door. So in order to get to this door, there's 2 screws at the bottom of it. They're just 5/16 self-tapping screws. You can pull those out, but that's not going to pull the door off. So what you really need to do is there's 2 star bit screws here that you're going to take out. There's also 2 on the left side, but we don't necessarily need to take those out to get the door off. So you're going to just take those out. You're going to have to lift up on this. And this door has a lip on it, so it kind of goes underneath this top. So you're going to have to lift up on that door to get that out. Let me take the screws out, or that screw out the bottom there. Lift this back up. And now we can get the door off. And then you can put the top back down so you can access the electrical connections here. So once you get this electrical box open, make sure that you look at all your electrical connections. Here you'll bring your low voltage wiring in and your high voltage wiring in. If you do need to access the refrigerant circuit, we have some insulation here. And you just pull that insulation back, and there you can see a braze plate and all the refrigerant components. You can also take corner post off. You can take the fan shroud off to be able to get to it. So all the refrigerant circuit, again, is located right here in this box. And now we're going to take a quick look at the water lines. So on the water lines, also remember that we need to insulate the water piping with at least 3/4 inch insulation. That way we don't have any sweating going on in the building, and it'll protect that piping. So make sure we're using the insulation 3/4 inch. So with that, that's a little bit of overview of the AV installation. Thanks for joining.